for the group so far?
Yeah, it's very important to know that the private sector is supposed to be the engine of growth. But we are not growing as expected. If that is so, then the economy will also not grow. I think we have to understand that. Right. We have to recognize the fact that vibrant private sector drives every economy in the world. Right. And so it is very important to create the enabling environment for we to achieve this growth that we so seek. And that is the problem of Ghanaian businesses and even the larger economy. And so it is what we are expecting is that the private sector needs a space to grow. Essentially.
But when you say that, government will come out to you and say, we've provided, the enabling environment. So what else are you asking for?
What is it?
Right.
If you know the government own principle that we should move from taxation to production.
Yes.
And then now we are being overtaxed. Cost of doing business is too many. And we cannot even contain them. And so if government itself knows this, and it is for this reason that 2017, they removed what they call the nuisance taxes. Right. And now the nuisance taxes are coming in different forms and shapes, including the COVID levy. It should be out of the table. We don't need it. COVID levy came to solve a problem, and we were talked to and we accepted because we all wanted to manage the COVID pandemic. And so once it is not there, it is only right that we take it out of the table. We also have a special import levy that came as a result that the previous government needed some push. Yeah. And that we also accepted that after the sunset, they brought some sunset clauses. Right. And so if this thing goes on, it means that we are not going to have confidence in leadership when they come and appeal for some of these things.
Do I get the clear impression that from the start of the year to where we are now, things don't seem to be going on well with the business community?
No, especially in the last quarter of 2022. Last few months I've seen businesses going, suffering too much. We are actually suffocating. If you look at the last quarter of 2022, that's where the exchange rate, the depreciation of the cedi reached its peak of about 15.5. We started the year with about 6.4. And so most of our capitals got depleted, about 50%, over 50%. And so most businesses' inability even to import the volumes that we used to import. That's why even the port is dry. Right. Because first, if you're able to bring your capital is for $100,000 and it has been depleted by 50%, now you are only able to change by virtue of the depreciation only 50,000. So can you bring the same quantity of goods? No.
And I think as we speak now, it's just about 11.
Yes, that's what I was coming to talk about. But whatever gain that the seeming
cedi,
the cedi is gaining is being overtaken by the taxes and then other costs of doing business, and that's why we are not getting the effect. Even our inflation. The inflation that we experienced, about 53%, was tied up to the exchange rate, the depreciation of last year. Right. And so if the exchange rate is being stabilized, then it is expected that inflation will follow suit. Why is inflation not coming down? Inflation is not coming down because even Bank of Ghana keep on increasing the monetary policy rate, which is not the solution. Because it also go and compound the cost of doing business, which have been the problem of this inflation that we are suffering, because it's an accumulation of cost. Right. So all that we are saying is that we should be able, the expectation of businesses is that we seek the reduction of taxes and then pruning down cost of doing business so that we become competitive.